really close. Her waving to the crowd, obviously relieved that the verdict essentially went her son's way this morning. He was not convicted of the most serious charges. And to that end, we've had an opportunity to speak with other family members, right, Mike?
To your point, Sandra, Sean Combs looking at his mom, among other family members, and said, "I love you, Mama," right after the verdict was read. In fact, some of the family members are in Lower Manhattan, waiting to see what happens, whether or not Mr. Combs is released. Dan Crouch just talked to one of Sean Combs' 7 children. Dan, what can you tell us about the conversation?
Well, Mike and Sandra, everyone is anxiously waiting to hear from Combs' family members. And as we speak, many of his children are inside this Sprinter van here behind me in Tribeca. We've seen this van a lot on the news over the past 10 weeks, as many of the family members and many of his children have shown up for these court proceedings. They show up in this van in the morning, and they leave at the end of the day. Right now, they're staying tight-lipped inside this van. But one of our producers just spoke exclusively with Combs' son, Christian, in an ABC News exclusive. Have a listen to what he had to say.
Hey, yo, we love y'all. We love everybody watching. So happy. Pop's coming on, and God bless. God bless the whole world.
What was going through your head when the verdict was read? Happy. You so happy?
Happy, he says. They're all happy that he was only convicted on 2 of the 5 counts, facing a maximum of 20 years behind bars. Many of the family members, as I said, including his son Justin, are right here behind me in the Sprinter van. And in case they're watching us right now on the ABC 7 NY streaming app, come on out. We want to talk to you about the reaction to your dad's verdict and what happens next. Reporting live in Tribeca, Dan Crouch, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Dan, a sigh of relief for those family members this afternoon. Of course, the first.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Didn't I call it? Was it like a week ago? It was about a week ago. I called it. Once they dropped the majority of the charges in their trial, it was a matter of time that he just was going to come home. And if you look on the screen, right, count 1, racketeering conspiracy. Count 2, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution. Count 4, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. So it sounds like those counts got repeated, probably different victims on each count. Yet count 5, he's found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, this is the irony of the whole thing with Diddy. He's not guilty of sex trafficking his wife, Cassie. He's not found guilty of any type of sexual crimes involving his wife, Cassie, right? But he is guilty of transporting a male prostitute to have sex with his wife, Cassie. Like, if you don't just drop that last charge and just be done with the whole thing, bro. Like, no bull. And damn it, I kind of hate even saying it like this, because, like, oh, man, we all just knew Puffy was going to go to jail forever. They was about to build a whole new hip-hop prison just for Diddy. And then when we started to listen to the trial, it was like, oh, he was a freak ball, and he found a girl who was in the freak ball stuff. And then, you know, they hired professional freak balls to do freak stuff. Like, I mean, where's the crime? Can a rich nigga have an orgy anymore is all I'm saying, bro.
It's a substantial sentence for what he's done. And, you know, we're pleased that Cassie's brought to light everything that has happened in this trial. I just spoke with her and with the U.S. Attorney's Office team, and she's in a good place. She's pleased that, again, that the jury has found him liable, actually guilty of 2 federal crimes.
Now, when Cassie Ventura took the stand on day 2 of this trial, she was up there for 4 days. She was 9 months pregnant. I sat in the courtroom and I watched. She did not look at Combs, did not look his way. She would enter the courtroom, head straight up to the witness booth. Combs would watch her.
Hey, Bunker, it is not my fault that they didn't actually try him for the oops upside your head, bro. That's what's really crazy about the whole thing. That video footage of him in the whole, it was a hotel hallway, and he ran down the hallway in nothing but his like bath towel, And then he like field goal kicked right across her forehead. And they didn't even try him for that.
His family in the second row, they would all watch her. She did. She is married now, and she gave birth to a baby boy on May 27th. Something else that is happening out here, where that Sprinter van is, where Dan Krauth is here at the courtroom, not far from there. This street now is behind me is Worth Street. It is now closed in both directions. The NYPD did that as a precaution because if and when Sean Combs walks out of this courtroom, you can imagine what that scene will be here. So the traffic has been shut down here on the street for about 30 minutes, and you see officers driving back and forth. They're also putting up more metal barricades to try and keep some kind of order if he walks out of the courtroom. Sandra and Mike.
Kimberly.
You know, after all of this time, all of this energy, all the, the prosecutorial effort that went into all this, you can literally itemize it down to an amount of dollars spent. Like, however many millions of dollars ultimately were spent on the Diddy trial, and you only got him on male prostitution. Is it really worth it? And then don't even get me started on the whole sex work is real work thing, right? Like, I hate to even be that guy, but this is this is the equivalent of a basic prostitution charge. Like, so not even a basic prostitution. So, all right, transportation for prostitution, is that how they worded it? Transportation to engage in prostitution. They literally got him for flying a nigga out, bro. That is like, so at the end of it all, you spent all this time and all this effort, and all you can prove is Puffy flew a nigga out so they could run a train on his wife. That's all we get. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't even know if getting flued out should be a crime, bro. I don't even want to get into all the freak ball life stuff because they some nasty niggas. They do what they do. But can it really be a crime to just fly a nigga out, bro? Like, this whole trial is retarded. This is the most ridiculous trial I've ever witnessed in my life. Bring back riveting legal drama like the OJ trial, bro. The OJ trial had us on the edge of our seat. Like, the whole country was like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? We're watching this Puffy thing, and the worst thing you can prove about Puffy is he flew a nigga out so they could run a train on Cassie, bro. Like, really? Really? Like, come on. If you can't get him on any of the real stuff, you're going to get him on flying a nigga out? And now I got to know, who the nigga that got flued out? Who the nigga that got flued out? Because if Puffy got to go to jail for the nigga, I want to know who the nigga is. Who got flued out so Puffy can go to jail?
Thank you. And you can see over your left shoulder and the right of our screen, you see the crowd building, a lot of them cameras, but some people just people who are curious. Anthony Carlo in the mix. We understand the U.S. Marshals heading up this security effort, working with the NYPD. What's the scene where you are now in the noon hour, Anthony?
Well, Mike, that's right. As Kimberly said, this is a big lift for the NYPD, working with agencies to make sure that Sean Combs, if he is released, can leave the courthouse. Just look across the street, though. You can take a look at the crowds of people you've been seeing from various angles. As you said, Mike, a lot of people who are just curious. I mean, we are talking about not just anybody here. We're talking about Sean Diddy Combs, who has been on trial. So people...
Was it the Punisher or was it the Terminator, man? We got to get this right. We got to keep the record straight. Was it the Punisher or was it the Terminator? Which one got flued out? Did the Punisher or the Terminator get flued out, and that's who we going to jail for? Either way, it's crazy. Either way, it's crazy. Like, you get a ring from hotel security. We have a Mr. Terminator here. Yeah, no. He says he's here to see Cassie, actually. He's here to see your wife. Yeah, that's the guy. Send him up. Yeah, bro, that's crazy. Bunker said, I'm driving. We're not leaving no paper trail. Next time, we gotta Listen, for the record, because you know Diddy gonna be in the street real soon. And if any one of y'all get the invite to smash one of Diddy wives, you got to take the bus, bro. No more of this getting flued out stuff. That is how you go down. That is a federal crime. That is the Mann Act. They literally got him on the Mann Act, bro. Of all charges, you're gonna get this nigga on the Mann Act. I hate that I even gotta be the one to do it, but I'm just gonna go right out. You know, I jump out the window with all the cringe, bleeding edge stuff. And let me just be the first guy to tell you, go on free Puffy, man. Go ahead and free Diddy, bro. We got free Diddy, man. Free Diddy. No black man should go to jail on the Mann Act. On historical grounds alone, free Diddy, bro. No black man deserves to go to jail over the damn Mann Act. That is unconscionable. This is an egregious affront to my civil rights, okay? Black men are not supposed to go to jail for the Mann Act. Free Diddy, bro. This is outrageous. I can't believe we here right now.
Turn this off. Turn this on.
They really got Diddy going to jail for transporting a nigga across state line. How, bro? How? Make this work. Make this make sense to me. Diddy is going to jail for transporting a nigga across state lines. Is that what you really going to do? Is that how y'all want to be remembered? Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Like, bro, come on. Y'all ain't got him, bro. Y'all do not have him. Like, for real, can a nigga live? Can a nigga live, bro? Now y'all gonna make me be Team Diddy. And I did not wake up Team Diddy, bro. I promise you, I did not wake up on Team Diddy. But if y'all gonna send that nigga to jail for some punk shit like the Mann Act, bro, nah. Free Diddy, bro. Diddy didn't do nothing. Diddy didn't do.
Girls are here to be sexy for me. Throw it back on a nigga. And that's why you're gonna drop that ass for a nigga, because you were put here to drop that ass for a nigga.
They really got this nigga on the Jack Johnson law, bro? Nah, I can't go with that. I can't, listen, I don't care how hard he kicked her in the forehead, bro. I can't support going to jail on the Jack Johnson law. Lock that nigga up for assault. If you're going to send him to jail for kicking her in the face, bro. Not no Jack Johnson law. This is wild. This is wild business right here, man. I don't even understand where we are anymore. Not the Jack Johnson law, bro. Anything but the Jack Johnson law. Get that nigga on drugging the baby oil. Did you test the baby oil? I'm telling you, there was an extra chemical in the baby oil. Did you test the baby oil? There was ketamine. There was like that Ninja Turtle mutagenic ooze stuff in there. It was one of those crystals from the Starship Enterprise's engines. It was a dilithium crystal in there. I mean, come on, test the baby oil. I guarantee you, if you test the baby oil, you can get him on some kind of like poisoning charges. You know, I know it has to be a crime to slip people a Mickey. Like, you got to get him on anything but a Jack Johnson charge, bro. This is crazy, bro. That is wild business, man. Midwest Request with the $2 super chat. He says, courtroom was critiquing Puff's stroke game. They really was, though. They played the videos and everything, yo. Well, you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, Diddy probably wasn't on any of his videos. Diddy was in a dark corner. There's like 100 hours of freak off footage, and Diddy wasn't on any one of them. He was in a dark corner in the next room doing the directing. Nigga had a headset and like a bucket. He had one of those Home Depot buckets full of baby oil. He had a headset and a moist towelette. That nigga was just giving directions and shit. He was not on any video, bro. That's probably why he not going to jail. They couldn't really get no evidence of nothing. The nigga really a criminal mastermind if you think about it. This nigga is a criminal genius, bro. The nigga Diddy is like the Teflon Don of freak boy shit, bro. We all know he did it, but we just can't send him to jail. Like, we got the video of him doing a field goal kick in a hotel hallway, but we can't send him to jail. I feel like the Scooby-Doo team could have cracked the code on this one, though. I don't know, man. There's something really weird about this whole thing, man. We should have got the Scooby-Doo kids on this one. All this time and all he gets is a Jack Johnson charge. This can't be true. This can't be real. Not a Jack Johnson charge, bro. Come on. And it wasn't even a white woman. I could almost respect it better if it was like an actual white woman that he was transporting. You can't convict a nigga of transporting another nigga. That literally goes against the spirit of the law, bro. They wrote the Mann Act so niggas would stop transporting white women across state line for aggressive prostitution. You can't backdoor nigga into the Mann Act. Pause. You can't do that though. That feels like against the spirit of the Mann Act. The white man would have never tolerated this type of mess back in the day. What are you doing here? I mean, can a rich nigga fly a broke nigga out to smash his wife anymore? I mean, what even is the point of having all of this money anyway? Like, really? Really? I didn't even want to have to do it, but now I feel like I got to actually go on a Puffy defense now. Like, this is outrageous, bro. This is outrageous. This is a, what do you call that? This is an affront to justice right here. And then, all right, so if he's found guilty of transporting the one dude allegedly, because I haven't gotten confirmation. I'm pretty sure it's a dude, but I want to hear it for more than just one, online internet source, right? But what's the evidence like? Like, how did you come to the conclusion that he didn't do none of this other stuff that he was supposed to do? He didn't abuse Cassie. He didn't blow up Cuddy's car. He didn't extort Cassie's parents for money. None of those things, right? But we know for a fact that he flew this nigga out. And that was a crime, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. It don't even feel like that should be a crime, though. Like, you got to give me some better details than he flew a nigga out this one time, and that's against the law. I need more than just that, bro. I need more. I really do. I really do. I did not want to wake up and have to be Team Diddy, man. Put a 1 in the chat if you woke up somehow Team Diddy and you didn't expect to be there. Like, this whole thing just feels like a waste of time, a charge that shouldn't really be a crime. Y'all didn't get him on nothing worth getting a nigga on. Like, all that stuff is unimportant, really. What does that really amount to? You bought some plane tickets? Like, you put the nigga on a Greyhound? Like, what does this really amount to? I did not expect to be Team Diddy today, bro. And you know what, Midwest? I'm with you. I think for the majority of us who actually did expect Puffy to go to jail for something, And this is actually wrong on our part, right? We can't expect a man to go to jail for crime A when we really wanted him to go to jail for crime B, right? Like, we can't have a replacement crime. And it just so happens that he'll never go down for the Tupac or the Biggie thing. But that's really why we wanted him to go to jail. And that was our bad. That was our weakness, right? But that being said, I don't think he needs to go to jail for this other stuff, bro. This is crazy. This is really crazy. Like, he going to jail because Ho's mad. You know how I feel about that. You can't go to jail because Ho's mad. The jails will never. The jails will just be busting out with people.
Ho's mad. Ho's mad. Ho's mad. Ho's mad. Ho's mad. Ho's mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Ho's mad. Ho's mad. Ho's mad. Ho's mad. Ho's mad. Ho's mad. Ho's mad.
So we keep waiting for the lawyers to come out here, man. We'll see what happens when the lawyers come out. Yes, free zone. Run the tape back. Run the tape back and clip that. You know, I don't back down from shit over here, free zone. This is what we say over here, all right? What's the point of having all this money if you can't fly another man out to bang your wife? Yeah, yes, free zone. I mean, for real. I mean, you worked hard and you got all this money and you can't do exactly what you want to do with it. What do you mean I can't do exactly what I do with it? No, it's my money and I'm going to spend it exactly like I want to. Free zone, for real. Tell me that's crazy, though. Tell me my logic doesn't hold up, free zone. You think Puffy worked all those hours? You think Puffy put all that effort in? You think you think he stays up 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, just so he has to bang Cassie? No, I'm gonna outsource that like I do everything else, bro. Rich nigga shit. I don't have to touch her if I don't feel like it. I'm telling you, it's a different world, bro. They live a different life. You don't understand. Sometimes you just don't feel like touching your wife. Go hire a nigga. Let him do all that. Let an expert touch your wife.
Development in this is like most of the family has left the court. The jurors were taken out on a side entrance, a little known side entrance. They were not brought through the front of the courthouse, which a lot of people were hoping would happen so they could get a chance to get a few words with them. But that wasn't the case. They were brought out on a private, semi-private or secret type entrance, and then they were brought out like that. And then, you know, it's just a waiting game right now, guys, in terms of the bail. Let me bring in attorney Peter Frankel right now. We'll just get a
That's the Diddy van.
sense of what you have to do to get bail. Peter,
shout out to the Diddy van. That looks like the Diddy van.
Well, the first thing that we need to understand is that this case is
maybe that's just
different
reporters.
than it was when he was first arrested.
How much baby oil do you think you can transport in one Diddy van? I'm thinking at least 6 to 8 pallets of baby oil. You know, single stack. Actually, you can double stack 2 of them, but you know, the weight, it's too much weight after a while. But I imagine you can transport a lot of baby oil in the Diddy van.
because most of the government's case was rejected.
All right, and then for people that are just joining us, it was being considered a victory for the defense. Not guilty on the RICO charge, the racketeering conspiracy #1 charge, not guilty on the 2 counts of sex trafficking, and guilty only on this prostitution charge.
Correct. It was a complete repudiation of the government's case, and where he was once looking at a potential life sentence, he's no longer looking at a definite jail sentence. So now the work really begins for the defense team to try to make sure that if he does get out today or whenever it may be, that he doesn't go back in.
And then in terms of filing any kind of an appeal to this conviction, what's the timeline typically for a case like this of when that would happen?
So typically sentencing wouldn't occur in federal court for 8 weeks or longer. It's possible the defense will file motions in advance of sentencing, trying to have that guilty verdict thrown out. A regular appeal to the Second Circuit would not occur until after he were sentenced.
Oh, so they would go all the way through to that, and then
Yes,
and then they would decide whether or not they're going to have an appeal.
I'm sure there'll be an appeal regardless of what his sentence is.
And then what about the reputation for the Southern District? It's always been kind of the most vaunted and most respected, well-respected. What does this do to their reputation?
Well, it's a great question, Lisa, because we know criminal prosecutions in this district result in convictions some 95% of the time.
Right, and people know that, and that's why
So-
they said, "Oh, it's a federal case. He's done," and he's not done, not by long shot.
No, exactly right. So, I think the Southern District is going to take a long, hard look at the case that they brought and whether or not they want to bring similar prosecutions going forward, especially as it relates to the RICO charge, which everyone knew was going to be extremely difficult from the beginning.
Right, and then in terms of just in terms of the timeline for him to get out, is it possible he could get out this afternoon? Because we've seen kind of movement here on the block with them shutting down the block, but they brought in a lot of NYPD officers here to handle the crowds and stuff like that, giving us a sense that, okay, this is a lot more than we've seen at any other point in the trial. Do you think that's possible? Just yes or no that he could get out today?
A definite yes.
Yeah, okay, great. All right, Peter Frankel, criminal defense attorney, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank
We
you,
really
my pleasure.
appreciate it.
It was literally 7 days ago when I dropped that the midday mini pod, Diddy might be coming home, charges dropped. And I called it. I'm like, bro, if those charges got dropped, they dropped all the heavy stuff, man. Like, all right, even with this transportation of with the intent to commit prostitution or whatever they framed it as, the maximum, 10 years in jail, right? Maximum. But anybody ever been through the legal process knows those big numbers, they kind of scare you in the beginning. Almost nobody gets convicted of the maximum charge. Let me restate that. Almost nobody gets sentenced directly to the maximum, right? It's actually unheard of to be sentenced to the maximum automatically without there being like an extenuating circumstance, like you got caught with a bunch of dead puppies in the trunk or something like that. Like, he would have never ever done 10 years for flying a nigga out. So off the rip, him going to jail for 10 years is out of the question. And if we're being really, really exact about it, him going to jail at all for that crime is kind of iffy. Because right now, what's going to happen, they're probably going to release him, and then he'll be out on appeal while he's appealing that conviction. That's probably what happens next. He's going to immediately appeal that conviction, and then while he's appealing that conviction, he's going to file a motion to be immediately released on all the other charges, plus time served and all that. Time served wouldn't even really be an issue, an argument, because you're going to argue that he needs to be released because it is very likely that he'll win this trial on appeal or whatever. And then even then, he could, while he's fighting to get released and while he's fighting for appeal, there's a third arm of lawyers, because you can just hire infinite lawyers, and you're now talking to the DA. Maybe I'll accept this conviction if you just give me time served and the whole thing goes away. The whole thing goes away right now on time served. Maybe that's how that works out, right? But either way, I do not see him going to jail. Diddy is going to be in the south of France next Saturday.
The jury, and the judge admonished him and told him that if it happened again, he wouldn't hesitate to remove him from the courtroom. But I'm sure there's a tremendous sense of relief. I'm sure last night was an unbearable night for everybody involved with this case, both the prosecution and the defense. And it just, we're waiting now to see if they're going to expedite or at least follow through on getting this bail done, which I think is probably from what our experts, what Peter Frankel was just telling us, and some of the other experts were saying that they would, that they expect to happen today, guys. But that's the latest from here. We're going to keep a watch on that door, and we'll be back with you.
Yeah.
Puffy is coming home, and the baby oil supplies are already getting low. The pre-orders are coming in already. Manufacturers can't keep up with the sudden spike.
Lisa, you mentioned that charisma, especially through the judge starting off with, that's the charisma that allowed him to have these relationships with women that turned out pretty badly, as we saw by some of these evidence. You mentioned the big crowd behind you there. What is the sentiment from that crowd there? Are those people in support of Diddy, or are these women's groups that are very upset about what happened?
Well, it was interesting, though, because I would have expected the women's groups, honestly, to show up a little bit earlier in the trial, like while the testimony was going on, or to come out to support. And there were a couple of individual women, maybe 2 or 3 at a time at certain points when Cassie was on the stand. But most of the people that were out here, and it has thinned out a little bit, were here to support Diddy, or they were just curious to see what, to see what was going on. There's a large contingent also of podcasters and people who are doing their own, doing their own thing to get the word out like that. So it's kind of a mixed bag right here, and everybody just waiting now. You got a lot of professional media from all over the world here to cover this story, because he is one of the most famous men in the world, and this has been covered heavily everywhere, guys.
I think there should be a women's group out there supporting Diddy. The Side Bitches Union, something like that. Because you got to understand, this is probably terrible for all the side chicks out there, right? Because I know Cassie wasn't a side chick technically, but hear me out. Because there's a whole industry there's a whole like Hollywood side chick girlfriend economy. And if your girlfriend, your side chick, is going to just keep turning on you, like we keep saying all the time, then it's going to kind of put pressure on the girlfriend market, on the side chick market. And so women need to stand up and call Cassie a liar and say Cassie didn't respect the game. She took the money and then she testified. That's against the code. How's a side chick supposed to make a living if y'all out here scaring all the men away? Let's see what else. What other news channels are up right now? Nobody else live?
And now I understand, Aaron, a statement has been given on behalf of Cassie Ventura, star witness in this case. What are you learning?
Her attorney, Doug Wigdor, just sent us the following statement. This entire criminal process started when our client, Cassie Ventura, had the courage to file her civil complaint in November 2023. And Kira, we should say that's true. The criminal investigation is largely based on the statements in Cassie Ventura's lawsuit, and intensified, of course, once video from the 2016 hotel security camera became public. The statement from Doug Wigdor, her attorney, goes on to say, although the jury did not find Combs guilty of sex trafficking Cassie beyond a reasonable doubt, she paved the way for a jury to find him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. By coming forward with her experience, Cassie's attorney, Doug Wigdor, goes on to say, Cassie has left an indelible mark on both the entertainment industry and the fight for justice. We must repeat with no reservation that we believe and support our client.
All right, here's a legal conundrum for you guys, right? If I offer a girl money to have sex, just me and her, no strings, no special things required, just me and her, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. That is the official definition of prostitution, right? Straight, cut and dry, no way out of that. If I add a video recording device, it becomes pornography, which is protected by the First Amendment. So here's the legal theory. If the gentleman in question that got, quote, flued out for the purpose of prostitution, if he was in fact recorded, could it not fall under something like an OnlyFans deal? Like, say you're an OnlyFans creator and you want to do business with another OnlyFans creator, like you're a famous guy and there's a famous girl and y'all want to link up, and she pitches the idea to you and she says, hey, you should come out here and work with me and we'll make content, we'll put it on both our pages and we'll just collect whatever we collect from that, and I'll pay your way, so I'll fly you out so everything works out for you. You don't have to come out of pocket because I'm inviting you, right? Is that sex trafficking, or is that a contractual arrangement between two legitimate business partners? That is the irony of our law, right? If you're filming content, then it becomes protected by the First Amendment. If you're just trying to get your jollies off like a red-blooded American male, well, then you're a dirty boy and you go to jail.
Who showed exemplary courage throughout this trial. She testified for 4 days, often quite emotionally so, giving graphic, explicit detail of what she said she was made to do. And Sean Combs did not deny the facts of the freak-offs. Everything that happened in those hotel rooms did not get challenged by the defense. The defense simply saw it differently, as something that
I don't think you understand how that kind of it sounds a little bit based when you say it plain like that. And Diddy did not challenge the events of the freak off. The defense just say that they interpreted the events differently. And Diddy's over there in the chair smiling like, I am the freak off king and you can never take this away from me. Diddy in the courtroom, yeah, I did that shit. Look at that. Look at that. That's me. I did that shit. Like Diddy in the courtroom smiling about his freak off material. He's like, look at me. I did this to you.
That she was made to do. And Sean Combs did not deny the facts of the freak-offs. Everything that happened in those hotel rooms did not get challenged by the defense. The defense.
Yeah, I did it. I did it. And you know what? She liked it. They all liked it. Some of them even got a bonus because they was working extra hard. Like, bro, these are not crimes, bro. This is something crazy, but this is not a crime. And a true hype with the $2 says that Cassie showed courage. This spin is nasty work. That's why the prosecution had to drop it. They felt how cringe this whole thing was, bro. Diddy was over there the whole time, just smiling, rubbing baby oil on himself. The whole trial, I think it just kept rubbing baby oil on himself,
Sean
bro.
Combs did not deny the facts of the freak-offs. Everything that happened in those hotel rooms did not get challenged by the defense. The defense simply saw it differently, as something that went on in a personal, consensual relationship, not sex trafficking.
And I think, yeah, because like when you guys tell me sex trafficking, right? When I hear those words, you know what pictures come to mind? Girls chained up in a basement guarded by cartel hitmen. You know, I think a busload of women getting snuck across the border, right? When you tell me sex trafficking, I think Liam Neeson from Taken. You know, you need a special set of skills to crack this open, right? I don't imagine Diddy having a BYOB, bring your own baby oil party as sex trafficking, right? If Diddy flew you out to his bring your own baby oil party, that's not sex trafficking. They're literally trying to stretch the definition of getting flued out into like getting kidnapped and drugged and being broken in as a part of a criminal organization. Like that's the sex trafficking as I understand it, right? Like, listen. Your name's Nikki now. Put on this red dress. Come outside in 5 minutes, right? That's sex trafficking. You know what I mean? When you hire a nigga named Punisher to come punish your wife, I don't know if that's sex trafficking. Not in the way you describe it.
And that's how the outcome is reflected now, Kira.
Bernardo, I want to go on to read another part of that statement on behalf of Cassie Ventura's attorney, saying she displayed unquestionable strength and brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that has persisted.
And you know what? I got to tell you, man, I will say this about Diddy. Diddy making niggas look bad in a way that I could have never predicted. Like, nobody had this on their 2025 bingo. I guarantee you, none of you niggas had this on your 2025 bingo card. Diddy is the first nigga to ever be convicted of flying a nigga out. And then the irony of it all is nobody really thinks that Diddy was banging a nigga. It's all universally understood that Diddy flew a nigga out so he could smash his wife. Diddy was like in another room rubbing baby oil on his private parts and stuff like that. Like, this is the wildest thing ever. But I gotta tell you, Diddy is making men in general just look crazy. Even if you don't go to jail for nothing, niggas don't need to be going to jail for getting niggas flued out, bro. And especially Diddy, bro, a black man. A black man is the first person to go to jail for getting a nigga flued out. A black man.
I'm telling you, man, this the reason why I be hating niggas, man. I'm telling you, man. It just be us. I be hating niggas, man.
So, in 1950 something, Jackie Robinson became the first black man to ever play professional baseball in the major league and the MLB. And honestly, I can't even name all the black first. You know, Jack Johnson was like the first black heavyweight champion. And then you fast forward, because, you know, we are running out of cool things to be the first black. Diddy is the first black to be convicted of flying a nigga out, bro. Nigga breaking barriers, bro. The nigga is breaking barriers. He raising the bar. He lowering the bar all at the same time. Like, how is the bar higher and lower at the same time? It's like Schrodinger's bar right now. This nigga Diddy is amazing, bro. He's amazingly awful. He's the first nigga to be convicted of flying a nigga out, bro. Do you not know we in the middle of a gender war, Diddy? Like, Diddy, I know you rich and you living up in you breathing a whole other type of air. Like you get your air imported from the Swiss Alps and shit. Like you live in a whole other type of life. But the rest of us down here in the streets, we fighting a gender war, and we can't afford these bitches to win one because a nigga get convicted of flying a nigga out, bro. This is not helpful. This is not helpful at all. Now I can't wait for these bitches to go start talking about, oh, you niggas be flying niggas out now. That's why these black women is lonely. That's why these black women can't get no husband, because you niggas be flying all the good men's out now. Like, Diddy, bro, you are not helping. You are not helping. We're fighting the gender war, and you're just ruining everything right now, bro.
Existed for decades without repercussion. This case proved that change is long overdue, and we will continue to fight on behalf of survivors. Two things that stood out to me: powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that persists, and change that is long overdue.
I love that pose for Diddy with Cassie right here. Like that pose, that's the picture he sends the dudes that he's trying to fly out. He's like, hey, you trying to work with this or what? Hey, like, he's like, hey, yo, Punisher, look what I got for you, Pun. Like, he sends you that picture right there. If you get an anonymous text with a picture like that, just know. Just know. You could just tell she was for sale, bro. Look, the car salesman pose, bro. That's exactly what that is. It's the car salesman pose, bro. This is wild business, bro. This whole trial done exposed a whole lot of just filthy, nasty business, man. I'm trying to tell you, there's a lot coming to the surface because of this trial, bro. Let me read a couple super chats. The Midwest request with the fireball. He says, a lot of strength and courage was shown when Cassie was biting that pillow, reaching out in the air for things that weren't there. I mean, she was getting punished. She was getting punished and terminated. There was a Punisher and a Terminator, apparently. Because sometimes you just gotta go. If you're gonna go, you gotta go all the way. If you're gonna punish, you might as well terminate. So you hire a Punisher to open it up, and then you hire the Terminator as the closer. You know, Diddy's a thoughtful husband. True Hype with the fireball. He says Jack Johnson was the first black man to openly transport a white woman with him, but no one touched him. But they made laws against him specifically. I know. That's why I said they got Diddy on the Jack Johnson laws, bro. And Diddy, this is what I mean. Like, it's crazy disrespectful in a way I could have never predicted. Diddy, you cannot abuse the Jack Johnson laws by getting convicted of flying a nigga out, bro. The whole thing is terrible. This whole thing is trash. Niggas out here fighting gender wars and Diddy getting convicted of flying niggas out. I would have rather him get convicted of the field goal kick, bro. Real shit. As a man, it is more respectable to get a DV charge than to get a flew the nigga out charge, bro. I gotta tell you. If you ask me, what would I rather have on my record? As a guy, as a man, what would I rather have on my permanent record? One time, you field goal kick this chick. We don't even know why. Doesn't even matter why. But one time, we know for a fact you field goal kicked this one girl, or you got convicted of flying a nigga out to your crib for sexual activities. Listen, bro, I'm taking a field goal charge all the time, every time. I'm doing that shit twice, bro. There's no way I'm going to have a flew the nigga out charge on my record. Ain't no way in hell, bro.
Overdue. Your thoughts?
Power and money. You can buy yourself out of a conviction. Let's be honest that if Sean Combs wasn't able to get the team that he got and pay for that defense team and experts and investigators to help defend himself, that we would have had a different outcome today. But money and power, that you can still get away with crimes if you have money and power. But I have to say, I was in the courtroom for Cassie's testimony, and she was a strong, strong witness. You can tell.
Shout out to J-Lo, man. You say what you want about them hood bitches, but she from the Bronx and she ain't snitch, all right? J-Lo, she not like AOC. She not from Westchester. J-Lo's from the Bronx. She wasn't going to tell. She like, shit, I ain't get shot. I'm good. I ain't telling. J-Lo did not snitch. That's what's up, though. But let me ask the chat. I gotta ask the chat now. You know what? I gotta make this an official poll. Hold on. Let me actually, I gotta open up one of these other windows, and I'm gonna open up an official poll in the chat because I needs to know. I needs to know now. What is a preferable choice here? What is the more desirable outcome? Like, what would you rather? So we got to do an official poll on this right here. Let me see. How do I open up this stupid thing? Oh, here we go. Let's see. DV charge or flew the nigga out charge? What would you rather have on your man card? No. Your masculine resume. Yeah, that's better. What would you rather have on your masculine resume? A DV charge or a flew the nigga out charge? Because I'm already gonna vote. I'm already voting DV charge. You know where I stand. DV all the way, twice on Sunday, bro.
Tell that the courage that she had, the strength that she exhibited. I mean, when she spoke and when she would cry from time to time, when she revisited those freak offs and when she revisited those times where Sean Combs brutally beat her, and to see her in court sitting down, showing the strength and courage that she was able to overcome this. I think one of the most strongest moments that brought people to tears is when she said at some point that she went home and she told her husband, "You can do this without me," and that she wanted to cross the street and commit suicide because of what she had been through.
So you can literally be in the middle of a circle jerk. You can actively ride the carousel. Like, you can do a lifetime of carousel riding in one night, but having to tell your story, it wants you to, that's where you draw the line. It leads you to those kinds of thoughts. The female mind is an amazing thing to witness, bro.
But I'm glad that Cassie has been able to pick herself up and has been able to move on, taking it day by day, because it does show the strength that she got as a result of coming forward. That coming forward helped to bring closure to her.
She didn't get any closure when she took the money. I mean, Deborah, really. Deborah, you see, shout out to Deborah and her strength. That's the type of strength I'm talking about, Deborah. She said, "I can overcome anything with 30 million in my bank account." Deborah is a strong Black woman, all right? That's what I'm talking about. You couldn't overcome it until you had to go to court. Like, please. We don't believe you anyway, Cassie. That's why he's not going to jail for you. You really wanted him to go to jail over you, but we just didn't believe you. Let me refresh the screen. Let's see. Is there anything new popping up? Let's go to TMZ. I haven't watched TMZ yet.
Welcome to TMZ Live. Harvey Levin here. So the prosecution in the Diddy case, they are winding up now, closing arguments tomorrow and Friday. The jury gets the case probably Monday. So the prosecution just filed paperwork today, actually in the form of a letter to the judge, saying that they wanted to simplify the jury instructions per the judge's instructions. And what they're doing is they're streamlining things, that there are charges alleging kidnapping, arson, that's the Kid Cudi case. They are alleging aiding and abetting in sex trafficking. They are slimming that all down so that they're not going to kind of overburden and overwhelm the jury with instructions.
Right. They're saying that to the judge that when you give the jury their instructions, just leave out the attempted kidnapping, leave out attempted arson,
but they're
aiding
saying,
and abetting.
They're saying
Leave
there's
it
still
out of
actual kidnapping.
Yes.
Actual arson.
And those things, the counts, the charges still remain. They're just saying there's no reason in the jury instructions to tell them about the attempted kidnapping.
And Charles, I'll tell you why.
Because you can't get them on none of that stuff. The whole thing look crazy now. I feel like it was just a big waste of everybody's time, bro. This whole thing,
Partial
one big
verdict
waste of
reaching
time.
the Sean Diddy Combs trial. A jury saying they've reached a decision on all but one charge after deliberating for just over 12 hours. The big unknown tonight is what that decision is. Combs faces 5 criminal counts. You see them right here. But it's that first charge at the top of racketeering conspiracy that they can't seem to agree on, at least not yet. Our team of legal experts standing by with what could be delaying the decision. It comes after weeks of intense and emotional testimony from star witnesses, including Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassie. The prosecution arguing Combs used his influence and power to run a criminal enterprise, going into excruciating detail about those alleged freak-offs. Also pointing to evidence from raids at Combs' Miami and Los Angeles mansions, which included guns, ammo, and of course, baby oil. Combs has denied all the charges, but tonight his fate still remains in the hands of...
Why did you mention the baby oil along with the guns and the ammo? As if the baby oil is equally threatening or dangerous as the guns and the ammo, right? Because technically all 3 of those are legal, to own, right? You can own guns, you can own ammunition, you can own baby oil. Now, guns and ammo together are obviously lethal. But are you saying that baby oil in the hands of Diddy is just as dangerous as guns and ammunition? Like Diddy doesn't even use guns, really. He just goes out with, high-grade baby oil, and he's just as lethal as any gunman? I don't know what you mean when you say it like that.
That Combs' Miami and Los Angeles mansions, which included guns, ammo, and of course, baby oil. Combs has denied all the charges, but tonight his fate still remains in the hands of these jurors as they are set to return tomorrow to continue deliberating on that final count. We have a lot to get to this evening. We want to start with Chloe Malas, who was in court. Chloe joins us now live.
No, Red, a man cannot be well-armed and lubricated in this country anymore. I don't know what this country's turning into, honestly. Once upon a time, we used to be in America. I don't know what we are now. We're not America anymore.
What did Combs do when they came back essentially so fast with a partial verdict?
Tom, it was a stunning moment, and I was actually in the courthouse watching Combs as he was reading the latest note from the jury, and his attorneys, in a very powerful scene, they huddled around him. It was almost ominous, and he put his head in his hands, even rubbing his eyes at one point, looking clearly dejected.
We've reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. Read the note from the jury that came just after 4 o'clock. But we cannot reach a verdict on count 1, they wrote, because some jurors have unpersuadable views. That means they've reached a unanimous decision on whether Sean Diddy Combs is guilty of sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution. But the jury of 8 men and 4 women is split on the most serious and complex charge, racketeering conspiracy. For that count, jurors must decide whether they believe Combs ran a criminal organization and committed underlying crimes like kidnapping and arson. Late today, the judge urging the jury to keep deliberating to try to reach a decision on that last count before revealing their verdict. As the jury's note came in, Combs' attorneys hugged and formed a circle around the music mogul, who put his head in his hands, at one point giving a thumbs up to his family. During the 7-week trial, prosecutors...
All right, who wins? A fully lubed up Diddy versus 100 flown out niggas. Who wins? Now the flown out niggas, they can only be wearing like, you know, Diddy attire, so whatever they would be wearing in the freak off. But Diddy is going to be 100% lubed up versus 100 flued out niggas.
Prosecutors allege that the music mogul ran a criminal enterprise and used power, violence, and fear to get what he wanted. Calling 34 witnesses, including 2 of Combs' former girlfriends, Cassie Ventura and another known only as Jane. Combs opting not to testify, his defense team calling no witnesses, telling the jury that the claims against Combs were badly exaggerated and that physical abuse and love of baby oil are not federal crimes. Defense team calling no witnesses, telling the jury that the claims against Combs were badly exaggerated and that physical abuse and love of baby oil are not federal crimes.
No, they're not. Where is it written in the Constitution that I can smack my bitch up and then squirt her down with baby oil and have the Punisher have his way with her? Where is it written in the Constitution? Not one of the founding fathers ever said that that was illegal. We got to stand up for Diddy. Standing up for Diddy is standing up for justice, okay? I'm telling you, this is an unconstitutional trial. The founders said the pursuit of happiness, all right? The pursuit of happiness. That means every now and then you get to smack your bitch and squirt some baby oil on her. It's literally written into the Constitution.
Cassie Ventura and another known only as Jane. Combs opting not to testify, his defense team calling no witnesses, telling the jury that the claims against Combs were badly exaggerated and that physical abuse and love of baby oil are not federal crimes. The jury will resume deliberation.
Yo, I can't believe these are real things that we have to hear. Like, this is actually written into the court trial. This is a part of American jurisprudence now. Like, one day far from now, there's going to be a young scholar, a legal scholar, fighting a life or death battle for a down on his luck defendant. And they're going to have to cite the Diddy trial. And Your Honor, it states, in United States v. Combs, it is not a federal trial to abuse your woman and love baby oil. You have to vote not guilty. Come on.
Witnesses, including 2 of Combs' former girlfriends, Cassie Ventura and another known only as Jane. Combs opting not to testify, his defense team calling no witnesses, telling the jury that the claims against Combs were badly exaggerated and that physical abuse and love of baby oil are not federal crimes. The jury will resume deliberations tomorrow morning.
All right, Chloe is back with us in front of the courthouse. And for legal analysis here tonight on Top Story, we have 4.
It's good to know it is not a federal crime to have rough sex with your wife. You know, the founding fathers, man, smart, wise. I'm telling you, those were some sharp white men. Shout out to the founding fathers, bro. Because of them, it is not a federal crime to have rough baby oil sex with your wife. It is not a federal crime for other guys to have rough baby oil sex with your wife. Thank you, founding fathers.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Former federal prosecutor Kristen Fedden and NBC News senior legal analyst correspondent Laura Jarrett, good friends to Top Story. Chloe, I'm going to go back to you. Take us back into the courthouse. What else did you observe Diddy doing, especially when he left court as well?
Yeah, so as he was leaving, he actually turned around and looked at his family. His daughters were in there, some other of his children, and his mother, Janice, who has been in there every single day of the trial. And his mother asked.
No, not baby oil is the new Boston tea. That we got banded up here. Give me liberty. Give me baby oil. We are not about to start a baby oil rebellion. The great baby oil rebellion. No, it's too cringe. No. Oh man, 2025 would be the year of the cringe rebellion, though. Something so cringe, it sets the country ablaze, right? That would be something great for 2025, a great cringe rebellion. There's patriots waving flags with bottles of baby oil. Oh man, harsh times, bro. Harsh times we live in.
Asked about the verdicts, and Combs said they came back with 4 verdicts and we're waiting on count 1. It'll be all right. I love you. He had a slight smile, Tom, but that usual optimism that you and I have talked about, that I've seen when I've been in the courtroom, it wasn't there. And this coming from a guy who yesterday was holding up the cover of those 2 books we talked about, The Power of Positive Thinking and The Happiness Advantage.
Yes.
No, you don't baby oil a whole block. That's not how you do it. You baby oil a political target like the courthouse. I don't want to give these ice pussies any ideas, but I'm actually using their ideas technically. If you're going to use baby oil politically, you have to pick a good target. You can't just pick a block.
Seems there's a vibe shift, but again, we don't know what the jury's decided. Kristen, I'm going to go to you now. Count 1 is racketeering. It's the most complicated one, the most punitive as well if he's convicted. Was that the right charge to bring against Diddy? Can we read anything in the jury's actions right now?
I feel like one day, far from now, Diddy will become like a folk tale. The diddler. There was a mysterious guy who just flew from town to town. And everywhere he went, freak-offs would happen. People would be compelled to buy baby oil. They would just suddenly have the urge to freak off. And then one day, just as quickly as he came, he would vanish and the freak-offs would end. And everybody would wonder what happened. I'm telling you, the diddler, he's going to become a folk hero one day. Well, not even a hero, but like a boogeyman kind of tale.
I think we can read a lot in the jury's actions. Do I think it was the right move by the prosecution? Absolutely, hands down. Why? Well, because with the RICO charge, what the prosecution can do is they can show from 2004 all the way up to 2024 that there was a pattern of power, exertion, control, all in the form of threats, physical violence, guns, all of that. They can show that pattern to the jury. Even if they don't get that as a conviction, the jury is now heard all of the acts of Sean Puff Diddy Combs, and then they heard of all of those criminal acts, even if they only get convictions on those 4 standalone crimes, the 2 sex trafficking and the 2 transportation of prostitution crimes. It allows.
You just got 1 flew the nigga out crime. Like, you know what, LaShawn, I would even take that as an acceptable punishment, right? LaShawn says, I'm no Diddy fan, but listening to some of the witnesses, I was like, no, he needs to be dragged and kicked like he did on that video. But jail, no. I mean, that's kind of how I've been feeling about this whole thing. Like, for one, Cassie was a willing participant, and I made this point before, like, let's say there were 5 freak-offs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. you want me to believe that number 3 was against your will? Like, it's hard for me to work that out in my mind. So, you know, it's hard for me to really get a good picture of Cassie, the victim here. And so outside of that one time where he obviously, you know, did some football practice, all that other stuff is a little bit iffy. Then I played the tape for you guys of Cassie making death threats to one of her freak off employees or whatever. Like, she was Bonnie to his Clyde, calling him up like, hey, I'm ready for the freak off, boo. What's up? Like, the text messages, everything, it's hard to make her the victim here. But apparently that one guy that got flued out, he was a victim. He got flued out against his will, apparently.
Them to tell the full story.
Yeah, I'm going to ask our great director, Brett Holy, if you can put up that full screen we had of all the charges, because I want to ask Laura about this. I mean, look, we can't read the jury's mind. We have no idea what they decided. But in your expertise and your history covering the courts, what do you think this means? Can we read any tea leaves? They came back, I think, kind of fast. It was really a day and a little bit of deliberating, and they have unanimous decisions on 4 out of 5 of these. What do you think they're thinking?
My guess is whatever the verdict is, it's the same on count 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? I don't think they're probably splitting the baby on that, although they could, because they are different survivors that are involved there, right? We have Cassie, you have Jane, so that's what the counts correlate to. Maybe they think something happened to Cassie that's different from Jane. There was different evidence. They provided different testimony, so I don't want to make it seem like this is a fully baked thing. We have no idea what's going on in that jury room, Tom, but as Kristen said, I think the RICO thing.
I can't wait until the surviving Diddy tapes hit the street, because, you know, surviving Diddy, they have to do do they even do that? They got to bring it back now. They got to bring it back one more time for Diddy, because I just know the outtakes and the little short one-liners are going to be amazing, right? You know? And so then they walked in the room with one of those big storage bins, you know, the kind you get from Walmart or Target or whatever, right? And so they got like 2 guys carrying the storage bin, so whatever's in it got to be heavy. And so I'm sitting there butt naked, and they dumped the whole storage bin. It was a whole storage bin full of baby oil. Like, I just can't wait until the surviving Diddy tapes come out.
Thing allows them to bring in conduct that they wouldn't be able to bring in otherwise, right? Conduct stretching back to 2004 would be past the statute of limitations. But because they've done RICO, they get to use all of that to tell a much deeper and more troubling story.
Let me follow up, though, on those 4 counts that we do know that they've reached a verdict on.
And then after they hit me with the bucket of baby oil, I passed out. I swear to God, I passed out. I thought I was dying. I woke up in a room that was all leather. The ceiling, the floor, the walls, it was all leather. There was a little lamp. The lamp was all leather. And I'm just in there, naked, still dripping with baby oil.
Did the prosecution, in your opinion, provide enough evidence? I mean, was that the stronger of the two cases? If we were to split the prostitution and the racketeering up,
yes, because it's simpler, right? People can get their heads around somebody using force.
You called the prostitute, you flew the prostitute, that kind of thing,
and they have the video,
and you paid the prostitute.
They've seen the video of Cassie on tape being beaten.
And then the door opens. I couldn't even tell it was a door. And then the door opens. And Diddy walks in the leather room. He's wearing a leather jumpsuit. And he asked me if I was hungry. I swear to God, he asked me if I was hungry. He said there was some chicken downstairs.
He's been apologetic for that he can't get around that video, right? So they already have that. Even if they don't have a video as it relates to Jane, they've seen that course of conduct as it relates to it. I think they can get their heads around that in an easier way than a criminal enterprise. When people think about a criminal enterprise, they think about the mob, right? They think about people running drugs and guns. This is not that.
For profit.
For profit. Yeah. This is not that. This is for...
This was definitely not that. This was definitely not that. This was basically like those YouTube skits. They like got this cartoon shit. channel where they kind of make fun of Diddy and Puffy and Jay-Z and all that. This is basically a YouTube skit.
For his personal use. Now, there's no question that the prosecutors have said he had all these people under him working desperately to try to, prop him up and protect him. And there's money involved and drugs involved. But it's not what people typically think of.
It's a great point, right? What was the motive here? And why would he have that RICO enterprise? I want to go back to Chloe because we still have her outside the courthouse. Chloe, take us back into that courtroom again, because we know there was also some sort of movements from the attorneys when the jury came back as well. Talk to us about how his legal team was feeling and looking.
I mean, Tom, when I was inside, I looked at the clock. It was about 4:10. I actually shared an elevator with Mark Agnifilo, the lead attorney, who knew what I didn't know was that there was another jury note. Many people thought that, hey, it's just the jury saying it's time to go home. But it was so tense. I mean, you had Brian Steele at one point just really passionately talking with his hands. You had Xavier Donaldson leaning over the front of the table. At one point, I thought maybe Combs was even crying. I mean, that is how intense the situation was. When those jurors, they came back into the room.
Damn. Diddy cries baby oil. Just one oily tear dripping down his cheek.
They were stoic. I've had my eyes on so many of them. And, listen, it's very hard to say what's going to happen with the sex trafficking on Cassie Ventura and Jane, because while sitting in there and looking in these jurors' faces, although I know you can't always read the tea leaves, it's very clear that several of those jurors, they were not convinced during the prosecution's testimony from some of those 34 witnesses. Also, the closing arguments, some rolling their eyes, some looking very exasperated. At times, remember, we talked about, Tom, some jurors even falling asleep. So again, tomorrow they will go back in there and deliberate.
Yeah.
But Combs looking very depressed as he turned around and looked at his family. Normally he's doing those prayer signs, maybe even a heart symbol. Not today.
Kristen, what do you think the lawyers are reading that, and Sean Diddy Combs is reading as well? What tea leaves do you think they're reading?
I think they're thinking that there is a conviction, as at least to counts 2 and 3. Or 4 and 5, related to Cassie and related to
Why?
Jane.
Because it came back so fast, or just
because I don't see how they are thinking about.
It's just really weird to me that you got only one count of flying a nigga out is really the shorthand for it, but you're not convicted of any abuse. You're not convicted of any of the violent stuff, like the Kid Cudi stuff, the car bomb or whatever. You're being convicted of transportation for the purpose of prostitution, which is basically like I flew the hooker out. Now, you're not even technically being charged for actual prostitution that the transportation for the purpose of prostitution would denote. And so I don't even understand how you could be guilty of that. They would have to walk me through how he could be guilty of that, but not anything else.
RICO, if in fact he didn't commit those sex trafficking crimes or the transportation for the purpose of prostitution crimes. Those standalone crimes are simpler. They're easier. Did he? And then when you have the video, look at all of the mountain of evidence.
Right.
They had to have at least found that there was some type of sex trafficking charge. Those are easy. Those are standard. Those are simpler crimes. But the complexity of the RICO charge, the enterprise, that's where it becomes sticky. And yes, I think the prosecution had sufficient credible evidence to bring the charge. But is it enough to prove beyond a reasonable doubt to convince every single juror? That's the sticky part.
Laura, 2 questions. One,
that's why it has to be a guy. You says Jane, she's not trafficked. She said they have a contract and she's still living in the place that he paying for. Any charge related to her needs to be thrown out. I'm telling you, he got charged for flying a dude out. One of his professionals.
walk our viewers quickly through if he does beat the RICO charge, what kind of prison time could he still face if he is convicted on the other ones? And two, how does the July 4th holiday play into this? Because I know there's a lot of back and forth about that.
If he is convicted on 2 through 5, he is facing 15 to life. It is
15 to life.
It is not nothing, right?
Yeah.
So even though we think about RICO being something so significant, the 15 to life, because he's using force and fraud and coercion, it's serious. The July 4th holiday is a specter here because usually jurors are not inclined to come back after a holiday, so they don't want to come back on Monday. And so there's this sort of looming pressure to try to see, can they get this done before or not? They decided today.
I feel like the jury figured we have to convict them of something because it would look crazy if we didn't let them, like if we just let them go, it would look crazy. And so the jury said we got to convict them of something, and so they threw that one little thing out there, like, okay, here's a bone, take your bone and let us go home and have our party now. But in reality, it all looks crazy, honestly. Once you threw all the real heavy stuff out, this whole thing looks crazy now.
They're not even going to bring it up today. They want to see how tomorrow plays out.
Tomorrow's going to be a big day.
Tomorrow's going to be an enormous day, because if they are still hung at the end of tomorrow on count one, then the question is, when we're talking about this in the break, does the judge say, no, I need you to keep going? Or does the judge say, I think we've done all we can do on
And that could be till next Tuesday. Okay. All right. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Laura, Kristen, Greg, Chloe. Thank you as well. We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top.
Let's see how Roland and them feel about Diddy.
Now they have the other counts. You got a total of 5 counts. Remember, they reached a partial verdict on some of these counts. They reached a partial verdict on some of these counts. So that was the sex trafficking one, the RICO charge, leading a RICO enterprise. So found not guilty when it comes to sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura. Remember, all of this really started with the lawsuit that she filed against him in the New York, and then was published in the New York Times. He settled 24 hours later. That opened the door for this federal investigation. There were raids on his homes in Los Angeles, in Miami as well. And so what ended up happening led to a federal probe by the FBI, by the Department of Homeland Security, and others that led to Sean Diddy Combs being, one second.
Roland, you suck at this, bro.
One, racketeer conspiracy. Sean Diddy Combs not guilty. Sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, which is count 2, not guilty. Transportation to engage in prostitution, which is count 3. He was found guilty of that. Count 4, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, found not guilty. Count 5, transportation to engage in prostitution, he was found guilty. And so of five charges against Sean Diddy Combs, he has been found not guilty on 3 of those particular charges. Remember, they also had earlier in the trial had dropped some of those charges. The prosecutors accused him of being involved in these drug-fueled sexual orgies, these freak-offs. There was a lot of testimony in this trial with regards to domestic violence, all of these different types of charges. He did not testify. The defense actually offered no rebuttal testimony. So they rested when it was their time to put on their particular case. And then that's when, of course, it went to the jury. And
so it looked like I made a little mistake. He's got 2 charges of flying somebody out. So
again, of the 5
wonder
charges,
who the other person was. Then.
Count 1, Sean Diddy Combs found not guilty of racketeering conspiracy. Charge count 2, not guilty of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Count 3, Sean Combs has been found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. And then count 4, Sean Combs found not guilty of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Count 5, he has been found guilty transportation to engage in prostitution. Our legal analyst
2 counts of flying a nigga out. And listen, maybe there was a chick he flew out occasionally, but I don't think that's how it went down. From what I'm hearing, he was flying a lot of dudes out because that was their thing.
Candace Kelly, she of course is sitting in the courtroom. We're waiting for her to emerge from the courtroom to get her on to explain what happened in the courtroom and what further details transpired. So this of course has been This, of course, has been a trial many folks have watched. Many folks in the entertainment industry have been watching. Many folks have talked about the whole Me Too movement, and how all
Roller sound like he's scared to give an opinion because he don't want to offend nobody he might have to see later. Diddy coming home, he gotta be real careful how he talk about this now. He might bump into Diddy one day, or he might get disinvited from the Diddy party.
Of the negative things regarding Sean Diddy Combs people have talked about and whispered for years actually became public in this trial. You name it, it was talked about it. It was about sex. It was about power. It was about utilizing his power to do so. We had the testimony of him blowing up the car of someone who was involved with Cassie. We had her testimony, with the testimony of former assistants of Sean Diddy Combs. It was so much going on in this particular trial. Coleman
Patrick says, flying out prostitutes to crack 50's baby mama, priceless. Bro, I didn't really understand why Diddy and 50 had a beef like they did. Like, I remember the Drink Champs episode where Diddy was like, 50 was like, yo, one day the nigga invites me to take me shopping. Like, fuck you mean you gonna take me shopping? Like, I take bitches shopping. What this nigga talk about? Like, they've been having like this low-level beef for years, and now it all comes out that 50's baby mom was on Diddy's like freak team. Like, she was on the freak off payroll. To this day, 50 baby mama is on the freak off payroll. Because the freak off's not over. They on hiatus.
Culminating in today's verdict in a New York courtroom regarding Sean Diddy Combs. Here is someone who was one of the most powerful individuals in the music industry. Someone who was very much a huge player in the culture when it came to music, when it came to fashion, of course, when it came to marketing, all of those different things that you saw. But again, you have now a split verdict in this particular trial. Like I said, so much of this, of course, became public when that videotape was released of Cassie coming down a hallway in a Los Angeles hotel. Sean Diddy Combs coming out of the room with a towel draped around him, beating and kicking her and dragging her by her hair as she tried to leave the hotel. That video, of course, was initially released by CNN. It was later shown repeated multiple times in the courtroom there. Now, also, we have a Keenan. Let me know. Do we have a live?
It's crazy though. They showed that video, but the charge itself was not that assault. They could never actually charge him for that assault for whatever reason. Because technically that happened in LA, so they would have had to charge him in LA. And you can't charge somebody. I don't think that would even have made the list for a federal crime. These are federal crimes he's been charged with.
I feed from outside of the courtroom there. Associated Press should have a live feed available for us to see when the attorneys emerge. That right there, folks, is the live look outside of the federal courthouse in New York City. And we are waiting for the family of Sean Combs to come out, waiting for his attorneys to come out. We also are waiting for prosecutors to issue a statement as well with regards to this. So let me recap. 5 counts in this particular case. 5 counts Sean Diddy Combs was facing. He was indicted on 5 counts. Remember, there were some of these charges were previously dropped by federal authorities after, of course, right before it went to the jury. We had Candace Kelly, the legal analyst, on saying how they were cleaning up. Some of this, cleaning up some of the charges and refining the charges. And so it's reduced to 5 counts. And again, these 5 counts count.
All right. We know the counts, Roro. We know the counts.
Okay, so boom, EJ, I got you, baby. So this is the difference between sex trafficking and prostitution. With sex trafficking, basically, that means you're selling your body for money, but you're being forced to do it.
All right. Why are you holding the mic so close to your mouth, but the video is so low? You need to go back to TikTok school. You're doing this all wrong, baby. Let's start over. Let me see. Who's doing some? All right, here. Let me see what this guy's saying.
Diddy not guilty 3 out of 5. At least when he get out of jail, he'll still be alive. Huh? Diddy not guilty 3 out of 5. At least when he get out of jail, he'll still be alive. Listen, Diddy not guilty 3 out of 5 charges, okay? The 2 that stuck with him was the transporting, okay, for prostitution. We already know, okay? They were going to try to stick him with that regardless, even though they said that Cassie wasn't supposed to be part of this whole thing. If you ask me, her name is on the docket. It is what it is, bro. 3 out of 5, not bad. Now, it all comes down to what they are going to sentence him, which is what we're going to find out at a later date. But I just wanted to update y'all as soon as possible because I had to understand it myself. Like, wait a minute. Was it the 2 or did he get caught with the 1? The RICO stuff, he beat. That's the best part. RICO and conspiracy is the hardest charge to beat in the African-American society. Okay, we'll talk about that at a later date. But yes, the verdict has came in and juror number 5 has said not guilty on RICO and conspiracy. When it comes to Cassie, of course, they hit him with the transportation of pros and also with the Jane Doe transportation of pros. I don't know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? How do you guys feel about it? Do you feel like this was the right call? Or do you feel like you should be behind bars? Let us know in the comment section. And remember, keep it respectful. Why?
He was found guilty on both counts of the Mann Act. The other charges, he was found not guilty. I want to be clear. They did this knowing and seeing that video of how he dragged her back into that freak off. He beat her ass in public on a video and then
Not dragged her back into the freak off. Wait. No. So you telling me she tried to quit mid freak off? Puffy like was taking a shower. He was coming right back. He was like, just stay busy until I come back. And she was like, all right, now's my time to escape. And then she tried to escape. And then he ran out the shower. He just felt it in his bones like something's wrong with my freak off. And he ran out the shower and he caught Cassie trying to escape. And he was like, where you going? The freak off's not over. And he kicked her. He was like, get back. We're not done freaking off. And then she ran back and they kept freaking off. Is that what you're telling me happened? That is a crazy tale. I can't believe that's what you think happened.
Be clear. They did this knowing and seeing that video of how he dragged her back into that freak off. He beat her ass in public on a video and then tried to hide it and pay someone off, which is extortion. That is a crime that could be part of RICO. And with everything else that he did, they still decided to not charge him with the other 3 counts. I want this to be a lesson to women. There were 8 men on those juries. And I bet you those men don't ask for consent from the women in their lives.
Oh, damn. Look, didn't I tell you we were in the middle of a gender war? I told you we were in the middle of a gender war. This is the last thing we need. Now it's all men. Now it's all men.
I'm done. I'm done with life. And it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault.
And that's why they do not see this as an issue. I said what I said. And Black women, you are not safe from Black men because a lot of Black men have been on this app condoning this. Stop opening up your legs to these men. Okay? You are not safe. They don't love you. Half of them are on here talking smack about you.
Oh, I can't wait till all the I love Black women niggas start doing videos about Puffy now. We need to be accountable because Puffy got off for beating up on Cassie. We got to be held accountable because Puffy dragged Cassie into the middle of a freak off she didn't want to freak off with. It's all our fault.
The ones that really love you will show you. The real men that have been on this app saying, no, he violated them. They were wrong. He should have never done this. And he was doing this to women in his own community.
She know the niggas I'm talking about. She know. I'm telling you, wait till the 35-minute video essays come out about how this is all Black men's fault and we should all hang our head in shame.
But I want to address this simping allegation. Do I simp for Black women? Yes. I love black women. I don't like y'all niggas. This is an easy decision to make. Sorry.
You shouldn't be doing it to anyone. But you would sit here and do it to women that are already oppressed, that already fight for everything in their lives. He is one dirty, low-down motherfucker. And just know that the people supporting this and all of those men are nasty. Those men jurors are terrible people. Diddy was found guilty
Nasty
on
men.
both counts of the Mann Act.
Nasty men.
We got some breaking news.
Two things, be mad at me if you want to, but I'm just a realist, okay? I never play in your face and be real. Just like I said last night, RICO was a problem. They did find two predicates of RICO, which were the Mann Act, but the problem is the prosecution was not able to convince this jury that Diddy was involved in organized crime rather than he just did this for his own personal benefit. Like you, again.
Can a nigga pay niggas to come out and smash his wife? I mean, damn. When did freak-offs become a crime? You think the founding fathers wasn't freaking off? I know for a fact Ben Franklin was the freak-off king. He defended his title on 2 continents. He went to Europe freaking off. All of a sudden, a freak-off is a crime now.
Can be a terrible person with a lot of money and not be involved with organized crime, because where are the other co-defendants? Because there has to be a web. There has to be other participants. Where are they? Where are their charges? Okay. But also I want to touch on Jane Doe.
Yes, you feel me, Red. What's the crime? A freak-off? A succulent, lubricated freak-off? Yes, a succulent, lubricated freak-off, bro. Where's the crime? Oh, come on.
Jane Doe told her story later on, and then she was added to the charges. Even after the first superseding indictment, she was added. And I believe that there was a shift after Jane Doe testified.
Half of America's heroes had freak-offs, all right? MLK had freak-offs. The whole Harlem Renaissance was one big, nasty, uptown freak-off. Freak-offs are a big part of the American tradition. You don't even know. Before we actually had, like, Santa Claus as a Christmas tradition, we used to literally just get drunk and freak off. Swear to God. Swear to God. Where's Donovan? Donovan Worland in the chat knows things like that. I bet you Donovan could confirm that easily. Before we had a lot of this Santa Claus, reindeer on the roof story stuff, it was literal bacchanalia on December 25th. Freak-offs are an American tradition. We just don't talk about it anymore because we're better than that now.
No, we did not hear the testimony. There's no cameras allowed in court or anything like that. But there was a shift after she testified and after what was leaked in her text messages. There was a shift to a more free Diddy mindset that had not been around when Cassie testified. After Cassie testified, it was like, put him under the jail. And then Jane testified, and there was a shift after people were able to see inside of, her text messages and things like that. There was a shift. So in my opinion, just my opinion, I would have left Jane.
Thank you, Aaron. Aaron knows what I'm talking about. We were having Christmas freak-offs before this country was doing Silent Night, Holy Night. I'm telling you, before Silent Night, Holy Night, it was a Christmas freak-off. It's a real American history for you people.
Off of this indictment, I would have just put Cassie on there. Just Cassie. I would have I'm not saying that her story is not real. I'm not discounting her story. Her story is her story. I'm just saying that after she told her story, something shifted to a free Diddy mindset of a lot of people, and they probably should have left her off the case. So anyways, that's just what I'm taking from this. And also, he could get a bail today and be out. heads up on that. Also, a possibility.
It was American History Triple X, bro. Not just one X. It was American History XXX, bro. We was getting it in.
And I'm saying a possibility. Oh my gosh, don't come for me. Just a possibility. He could be sentenced to time served. Possibility. Not saying it's going to happen. I mean, this is the feds. He kind of beat him. I'm just saying that there's a possibility that the judge could just say, okay, we're going to sentence you to time served. But he could receive a large bail amount and get out today. Keep you updated, bye. Two things, be mad at me.
Hey, look. You talk about Jim Crow freak-offs. Didn't Black America just go crazy about a black vampire movie that was essentially, there was some freak-offs in there. Was there or was there not a Jim Crow freak-off in the Black Vampire movie? I didn't watch it. I just kept hearing about that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, man, freak-offs is just, all of a sudden America don't have freak-offs. Stop lying. Stop the
There ain't no way you.
Hold on.
There ain't no way you mean to tell me the Diddler Riddler got found not guilty on his most serious charges?
He got the crazy blue gay eyes. I didn't even know that was a shade. I didn't even know gay blue was a shade. He has gay blue eyes.
To tell me the Diddler Riddler got found not guilty on his most serious charges? I might better go check on 50 Cent. I smell a Tupac reboot. We get witness protection. The fuck? I don't never want to hear another motherfucking word. A white privilege. Shove it up your ass. Shove it up your ass. It's rich privilege. Who this motherfucker think he is, Ozempic OJ? Who was this motherfucker's lawyer? Fucking Johnny Cochran? If it don't fit, you must quit. What I mean.
All right, I'm over you.
Anybody else not surprised by the Diddy verdict? Everybody that I know, man or woman, we were all saying, yo, this nigga Diddy crazy. This nigga Diddy is a freak. He need to be under the jail. You know what I'm saying? And you see me, I was starting to think that the world was just like overly freaked out. I was starting to think that everybody was just nasty. But looking at this Diddy trial, there's a lot of us that we ain't that freaky. We ain't on that level of Diddy. So when we saw the stuff that he was doing, we were all like, oh shit, like, the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like he needs to be put somewhere. But I guess the courts and the jury was just like, yo, as crazy as it may look to all of y'all and to us, being freaky really ain't a crime. Now when it comes to the prostitution shit, prostitution
is it really a crime? I mean, come on now.
It ain't legal where you at, so we got to get you on that one. But all the freaky shit, ain't nothing we can do about that. Because real talk, that's one of the main things that
and look, they didn't really get him on like anything aggressive. It was literally you flew the nigga out and gave him some money, and you flew the chick out too. To spice it up. You wanted, more. He just wanted more. He wanted a bigger crowd, right? And so that's the charges. You flew out some professionals.
That whole trial exposed. It's just how freaky that nigga was, And I feel sorry for Cassie and everything that she went through, but she was freaky too. I'm not surprised. Plus, the dude got money, so I'm really not surprised by this.
Can poor people have a freak off like Diddy and get away with it? Like, if I had the same kind of freak off case, same amount of baby oil, which would be crazy for a regular person to have all that baby oil. But just imagine, if they caught me with all that stuff, right? And then I had the same type of thing, like, could only a rich person get away with this type of freak off?
I believe the two charges that he was still found guilty on, he could still be facing some jail time. But yeah, I had a feeling he wasn't going to be found guilty for all that stuff. I'm not surprised by this. Anybody else not surprised by the Diddy verdict? Everybody that I know. Like that.
No. I'm telling you, Diddy got to drop a video. You know what? Nah. Video is too old school. Diddy needs to come out and do TikTok, bro. Diddy needs to get on TikTok. It would totally blow the app up. Diddy need to come out and do just a little not guilty dance. He don't even got to say nothing. Just do a little dance. Just give me a look of shimmy. Just a look of shimmy. That's all he got to do. Just do a little dance with a little music behind him. He gonna blow TikTok up, bro. If Diddy get on TikTok, it's gonna be crazy.
Jury has reached a verdict in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. I want to bring in.
The reaction is that
Diddy the dick diddler not being charged for.
Well, what the hell?
Diddy the dick diddler. Diddy the dick diddler. Diddy the dick diddler.
Yeah. Oh my God. Why are these niggas like that, bro? Oh, why are you
not
like
being
this?
charged
Oh my
for
God.
anything specifically pertaining to Cassie and Jane Doe is actually very insane when you think about it. Because how was he charged with trafficking to engage, but not charged with fucking trafficking? Like, who the fuck did y'all think was engaging with the prostitutions? And this is exactly why victims don't come forward and speak their truth, because y'all take them going along with it as them being complacent. For some reason, people still cannot fathom that you can be getting abused and still choose to stay. That's a part of the cycle. Like, I don't understand how any of the jurors heard those testimonies, especially Cassie's, and don't feel like that man didn't do anything wrong. And even outside of the sexual abuse of Cassie, there is literal physical evidence of him being physically abusive to her. So if he was being physically abusive, why would you not think that he was also being sexually abusive? Like,
Cause she looked like she was into that kind of stuff, man. It's hard to draw the line. I mean, maybe she wanted him to squeeze harder. That's how she got those choke scars. I don't know. It's a little murky. Sometimes, you know, a little bit of Henny, a little bit of baby oil. Next thing you know, Punisher and Gravedigger knocking on the door and things get broken.
it's actually really sad when you think about it, because Cassie really had to get up on that stand and relive her trauma, look at her abuser in her eyes just to know that he got off with abusing her. Like, she was forced to do all of that, and the only thing that he's going to get is like, what, 8 years in prison?
Oh, Diddy on the 20v1. That would be so lit. But this is how you do it, right? Diddy on the 20v1. Diddy comes out in his bathing shorts, no shirt on, with some jewelry, and a big giant thing of baby oil. That should be it. Diddy on 20v1, and then we see who popped a balloon or not. Because you know somebody going. No matter what, somebody going.
There's a 15-year mandatory minimum on the sex trafficking charges. But we don't know. So what happened this afternoon is we got news that the jurors have made a decision on 4 of the 5 counts that they are deadlocked on the RICO count. There's a 15-year mandatory minimum on the sex trafficking charges. But we don't know. So what happened?
All right, guys, the Diddy verdicts are coming in. They're being read right now. For count 1, racketeering.
Diddy has been convicted of 2 of the 5 criminal charges against him. He has been acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering, which was the RICO charge, but he has been convicted of 2 of the prostitution offenses. Diddy has been convicted of 2 counts of transportation for prostitution, which is the lesser charge. Had he been convicted of the racketeering, which is a RICO charge, and the sex trafficking, he faced a mandatory minimum and maybe life in prison. With these 2 charges, he will spend time in jail.
Oh, shut up, nigga. You're not the news.
But I'm currently rushing to finish packing before I leave for the airport. But the verdict came in for the Diddy trial, and y'all.
She looks stressed out. She looked personally hurt. Like her life is on hold. It's on pause right now because Diddy not going to jail for all them other charges.
Even with all the evidence, it is never enough. Now, he is found guilty on 2 of the 5 charges, which was the transportation for prostitution. I don't know what the maximum sentence is that for those, but.
Hey, Patrick, you read my mind. I was just thinking that, like, I wonder what the percentage of, like, gay representation is on TikTok compared to other apps. Because, like, even on Twitter is nowhere near as, like, heavily gay as TikTok seems to be. There's just a lot of gay representation on TikTok for whatever reason.
Honestly, even with that, the system's going to find a workaround for him. I'm just so fucking sick. We went through almost 2 months of testimonies of evidence. You have people watching the evidence in this jury, seeing people's testimonies, and it still wasn't enough. Now, I know people say that RICO was hard to prove, and with what the prosecution was presenting with, it was going to be a slippery slope to try to prove it. But I know with that 3 out of 5 not guilty, people are going to say that he beat this case, which no, he did not. At this point, I have no faith of them even deciding on an actual sentencing for him because he deserves to rot in jail. I'm praying for Cassie and for every victim of him. I'm praying for every victim who has been subjected to sexual violence and just completely mistreated and was triggered for this entire experience and will continue to be triggered because the people that have been defending him this whole time are going to see this as a victory when it's not. Oh my God,
It's not a victory. Getting a flued out charge on your record is not a victory.
Katie, we have some breaking news.
I don't want to hear from Don.
Reporting live from the United States of Embarrassment, I have your breaking good news. Before my timeline is filled with Diddy. Diddy is acquitted. Diddy is not guilty. He was guilty on 2 of the 5 charges. I don't have time to dig deeper because we have bigger problems going on in the Senate and the House of Representatives. Do not lose sight. Fuck what he got going on. He's a grown man. He's going to handle it. He's going to deal with it when he does his time. If he does his time, that's not my problem. It does not affect anything that we have going on. But what's happening in the Congress does. Okay, guys?
See, she want to stay on mission, man. Don't forget about the revolution. The forevolution never stops, y'all.
So don't, okay? Acknowledge it. Say what you got to say. But use that same energy to talk about what's going on.
Oh, man. They out here big man. Oh, that nigga looks, yeah. Every nigga on here looks kind of suspect, man. Jeez, Lord.
Oh, Jesus. Breaking news. He was acquitted.
Wait.
Patriots, I would be the worst husband.
Man, the jury has said we have reached a verdict on all counts. They allegedly sent the judge a note this morning at 9:52 saying we have reached a verdict on all counts. I am nervous for this man. And not because I want to see him guilty or innocent, just nervous because I can understand how he's feeling in this moment because he don't know. But I'm listen, I'm gonna sit right here and give my live reaction to this verdict. Oh.
Everybody trying to get their money off the Diddy case right now. Oh, man, but Diddy about to come home now. I don't even think he gonna do no time for those charges. He could easily get time served because, you know, you flew somebody out. Like, it's not that big a deal. It's not the heaviest crime in the world, man. And then honestly, bro, the Mann Act, like, really? The Mann Act? I don't even like to be that guy. I don't, you know, because I hate to be that guy. But because I hate to be that guy, I think when I actually do slip into that guy, it's a little bit more judicious. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to be that guy this one time. The Mann Act is one of those laws that were literally written to stop niggas. Period. Like, it was literally written because of Jack Johnson. It's an anti-nigga law. And I just didn't realize we were doing that right now. I thought we had left that behind us. Like, I didn't think I could or anybody would be convicted of the anti-nigga laws from 1921 or whatever year it was. Just a weird place to be in, right? So, like, in New York City, too, mind you, right? You know, one of the liberal capitals. We locking niggas up on anti-nigga laws. Like, it feels really weird, bro. It does kind of feel like maybe we should take this to the Supreme Court. Like, I'm really about to get on my free Diddy now because it just feels like one of them things. Like all of y'all niggas realize that this is literally a racist law. You said they got Charlie Chaplin with it too? Hey man, sometimes we get caught up. You know, Hollywood, man, they like them young. You said didn't Kells get cooked on the Mann Act? I don't know, maybe. You said imagine niggas celebrating the fact that a nigga only got the anti-nigga law. I'm crying laughing. Isn't it a weird pro-black position though? It is a weird pro-black position. Like they literally wrote a law because they didn't like how this nigga was flexing. And then I don't even think Jack Johnson was prostituting women per se. Like Jack Johnson was marrying white women. And they called it prostitution because why else would a white woman be out here with a nigga, even a rich nigga like him? So they called it prostitution maybe, but I don't think Jack Johnson was ever dealing with actual prostitutes in any real way. And so the idea behind the law was literally like, we just kind of don't like to see you niggas with white girls, kind of, I'm just not feeling that, Like that was literally the Mann Act. The Mann Act was basically like, it was a nigga please act.
Nigga please. Serious.
And so they got Diddy on the trumped up nigga please act. Like the whole thing is actually kind of false and weird when I really think about it. And I started out the stream and I told you guys that I did not imagine myself waking up on Team Diddy. And then when I really hear more about it and I think more about it, it's not just Team Diddy. Now it's free Diddy, bro. Free Diddy all day, bro. Cause the Mann Act, like really? Not the Mann Act. I thought y'all was better than that. I thought we stopped doing that kind of thing. Let me close this poll out. What are the results of the polls? Like almost 80%. So you got, all right, 78 to 21. The DV charge wins. 78% of y'all would rather have the DV charge over a flew the nigga out charge. It's an interesting choice. I mean, I guess that's the human condition, right? Some niggas would rather have the DV. I mean, most niggas would rather take the DV charge, and some niggas would rather be like, hey, listen, man, it was just a thing I had to do. It was for business. I had to fly a nigga out one time, I don't really like to talk about it. Some niggas would rather take that one. I guess it depends on whatever story you're more comfortable telling, right? Yeah, that definitely deserved at least 18 months, bro. I would even up the year to 18 months, bro, because that alone is just freak ball stuff, bro. Nah, free, I'm with you, bro. Listen, I would take the DV charge all day, bro. I'm not trying to explain how I had to fly a nigga out this one time. Like, nah, like, see, because my wife, right? She was really into this type of thing, and like I wasn't really into it. So she said she knew a guy, but he lived in Temecula, and so I had to get him a ticket from Temecula to Newark. Like, like it's such a weird kind of thing. Like, how do you tell that kind of tale. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I would much rather have the DV charge tell. Like, you could do a lot with that story. I can make you understand a DV charge. You know what I mean? Like, bro, she kicked me in the balls. Like, bro, I can make you easily understand why I caught a DV charge. You know what I mean? I can't really make you understand why I had to fly this nigga out. Like, I can't, like, nah. There's just no way, bro. Only Diddy can do it, bro. Diddy can do it. I believe in him. I think Diddy can do it. I'm waiting for the Diddy podcast to come out because he got to do like the rebirth thing. He gonna start like a little fake Christian ministry or whatever, the Church of Diddy, the Baby Oil Gospels or whatever. He gonna come back. He's gonna like reinvent himself because he likes the limelight. He likes to be in public. He likes people loving him. And then you got to stay like you got to keep the recruitment pool active. So you got to keep fresh faces for the freak offs, right? So you got to get out there. You got to get back out there. Him being on camera is advertisement for the freak off. Oh, the freak off cast, bro. Do you understand Diddy could break the internet? Like, break the internet. They will have to buy more cable. They're going to have to launch a Tesla satellite. Diddy could break the internet if he does a freak off cast. And not actual freak off cast. Like, he doesn't have to do that. He can save that footage for himself. I respect the privacy, But if he were to just call it freak off cast, and it would just be like a Diddy party where people doing risque things, scantily clad women playing beer pong, big booty basketball. You know what I mean? Like, he could really do the freak off cast and it would break the internet. I'm telling you. Like that 21-foot bed that they said he had. They said he had a 21-foot mattress. He could host the show from the 21-foot mattress, bro. He could do one whole episode where he never leaves the mattress. Got girls on one corner playing strip spades down to their bikini. Got girls in another section of the mattress. They're just braiding hair and talking about nothing. A whole other section of the mattress is a hookah lounge. He could do a whole freak off cast from the big mattress, bro. It'll be a big thing. It'll be a thing. Look, this is me low key trying to get a job as the freak off coordinator. Gotta have a segment with the couch. I'm telling you, look, he can do a lot, man. Diddy he can take the internet to a whole new level. Do you understand? People are curious about the freak off now. People want to know about freak off culture. Like, we can have whole like puff piece things going on. Like, what are your top 4 outfits to a freak off? Oh, freak off fashion show. Yeah, yes, the freak off fashion show. Oh my God, all the Instagram baddies. No, I'm telling you, this is how we do it. We're going to bring Diddy back. We're going to free Diddy and we're going to bring Diddy back. It's going to be a whole second career of Diddy. We're going to take the freak offs national. The freak off drives. We're going to take this thing corporate. We're going to franchise the freak offs. I'm telling you. It's going to be a freak off hotspot location in Miami, in New York, in Los Angeles. Not in San Francisco. No, never freak off in San Francisco. No. No, they do a particular, they do their own thing. But we're gonna have a freak off franchise. I'm telling you, it's gonna be wild. Uncut Underground. I hope it was assumed that like 95% of everything said today was some type of joke, bro. And then not for nothing, but I was literally describing the Diddy life. I don't think I have to go back, and if I have to explain the joke, it's not funny no more, bro. Uncut. If I have to go back and read the script out loud, it's just not funny no more. You know what I mean? But is that not literally the Diddy script, though? Tell me that's not the Diddy script, Uncut. Is that not the Diddy lifestyle? Did Diddy not just get charged for the Mann Act for hiring a nigga named Punisher to punish his wife? That's the Diddy life, bro. Don't hate the jokes, man. Hate the cuck, man. Anyway, look. The competitive freak off cross freaks. Oh my god. We're gonna take this freak off franchise national. Diddy's gonna have a whole other separate career now. He won't even make music no more like that. It's gonna be like a second thing. It's gonna be like a hobby he leaves to the kids. It's gonna be a hobby he leaves to the kids. Diddy gonna take the freak offs national. He's gonna franchise it. I wonder if he can bring a freak off spot to Chicago. I feel like it would be exciting, but it would be a little too dangerous, though. You don't want a Chicago style deep dish freak off. Like we might be asking for too much. I think a Chicago style deep dish freak off might be too far. We might have to draw the line. Only in the major cities. And San Francisco is out for obvious reasons. Chicago is out for other obvious reasons. Like I said, bro, a Chicago style deep dish freak off, bro. I don't know if they can, if only Chicago can handle a Chicago style deep dish, bro. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that gets involved in a deep dish freak off. But we got a franchise. I'm telling you, Diddy's gonna do a podcast. You're gonna have the Freak Off cast, and then he's gonna franchise the Freak Offs. He's gonna have a corporate Freak Off sponsorship. That he needs his own baby oil brand. Look, this will turn out to be the thing that rejuvenates Diddy's career. I'm telling you. Oh shit, not Diddy's prison oil. Nah. I think prison oil is a little too much. No, but a Diddy lubricant is definitely foreseeable. Like some type of Diddy brand lubricant, Diddy gel. Yeah, that's the perfect name. That's at least a working title, right? Diddy's prison oil is it almost sounds threatening and aggressive, and you don't really want that. Like if you're trying to advertise a corporate sponsored freak off, you want something that can sell, Diddy gel. You can use it at a freak off. You can use it on your car. You can use it to fix your model plane. It's like an all-around lubricant. It's like no. Diddy D40. That's a perfect one. Diddy D40. It's an all-around lubricant. You can use it for all kinds of things, and it's biodegradable. Diddy D40 comes in a little aluminum can. I'm telling you, there's so many things he can do. His second career is just waiting for him. All he has to do is just keep leaning to the dark side, bro. All he has to do is just keep leaning into the dark side. I'm telling you, he can do a lot with this, man. He got so many career opportunities now. He can leave music behind. He can leave music to the kids, bro. Let the kids, because you know the kids, they want to do drill rap and lean music and all that, bro. Nah. Diddy's up there. It's a whole other career. Listen. If that one rabbi guy can sell dildos and lubricants with his daughter, Diddy can sell cans of Diddy D40 on the internet, all right? Don't let that one rabbi guy get all the weirdo money, bro. Let Diddy sell cans of Diddy D40 on the internet. An all-purpose lubricant. Lubricating the world one freak off at a time. He's on a mission. This is his mission. He's out to heal the world. He's trying to lube the world up one freak off at a time. I'm telling you, this is no, whatever he does, stay away from Rabbi Shmuley. You stay away from Rabbi Shmuley. Once you get the Rabbi Shmuley guy in, and he's going to keep all the money and all the baby oil to himself, and Diddy's going to be broke and homeless. This tale old as time. Seen it over and over again. Nope. Keep it all for yourself, Diddy. I'm telling you, don't do business with Rabbi Shmuley. He's got his own thing. Him and his daughter are happy enough. They don't need your business. Nope. Stay focused, man. Stay on mission. The Oiled Earth Initiative. I like the name of that. You see, that's clean, right? That's the type of name that gets a corporate sponsor, right? Now you can get the big names behind you. You know, you can get the 3M company to sponsor you, you know. You can get Johnson & Johnson, obviously, to sponsor you. You can get proper sponsorship. You can get the SP 500 companies to donate some money. Yo, Diddy is going to have a whole new career. I'm telling you, it's not over for Diddy. I don't even think Diddy going to go to jail, bro. Diddy about to come home on time served, and he's going to fight the whole conviction on appeal. And then he's going to start the freak-offs again. And then all we have to do is just wait. But anyway, I'm out of here, man. I got to go. It's been a Diddy-tastic day. This whole day has been Diddy-tastic. And just for the record, because we did title the show No Diddy, I got to close the show with one giant No Diddy. For those of y'all that need to hear it, pause, No Diddy.
Aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, that isn't freedom. That isn't going to help anybody. It's certainly not going to help black people.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.